Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle podcast. I'm your host Shasi, and this is episode number 32 with another guest. Now, before we start off and kick off with our next guest, and kick off is the right word, please follow and click on the subscribe button on the various platforms that you are on, like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the works. We are on these platforms. Well, let's get started. Let's get kicking. With me in the studio is one of the best strikers Singapore has ever produced. He has got 31 international goals in 113 matches for Singapore. That makes him part of the FIFA Century Club, more than 100 caps. Now, he is the first Singaporean to hit 100 domestic goals in the professional league and has scored more than 200 domestic goals in his career. He captained the Lion City Cup team to the championship way back in 1995. He's going to talk about that as well later on. He began his pro career way back in 1996 in the first year, or the inaugural S-League, for the team that was called Police. It's now called Home Utd, and of course now Lion City Sailors. Since then, he has hit milestones right along the way, like scoring against Man Utd, winning the S-League title and the Singapore Cup, and of course, captaining his country. Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle podcast, my friend, Mr. Indra Sahdan.
Hi, thank you, Shasi. Hello, those listening in. I just want to say thank you, inviting me to the studio today.
No problems. I think there was an opportunity that arose, and it always has to be grabbed with open arms. Now, just before we get started with your career, what you've done, I think there's many things that you've done, right? What have you been up to since retiring in 2016? I think you retired in 2016 with Geylang.
Yes, last club I played for was Geylang. Yes.
Yeah. So briefly, just what are you doing right now, Indra?
At the moment, I'm switching between. I was coaching occasionally, doing
Right.
part-time with this academy with Kufa down at this Turf City. And then other than that, I've been doing some other jobs with some of my friends. Just filling up my time.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
I know that you were in the limo business as well.
Yeah, I did. I tried doing a limo business.
Right.
It was okay. It was fun,
Right.
meeting people from all over the world, and then talking about their countries and their
Okay.
cultures.
Okay.
And then I went into being a personal driver at one point of time.
Okay.
It's all a good experience for me.
Right. It's totally different.
Totally different, correct? Because I've always been in football since I was young, so I guess this is one of those things where I just want to get experience and feel how it's like,
Right.
doing all this.
Let me say this: it is much more difficult than playing football, isn't it? Right?
Yes, much difficult. So I would say, if people to ask me, I'd say I'd rather be playing until now.
until we die, right? All right, let's go back a little bit, right? Not a little bit, quite some time back. Now, how did it all start for you as a footballer? At what age, roughly?
I would say my last remembrance of me playing football was maybe I was 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
I had a picture where I think my mom or my dad took was like running at the basketball court with a football.
Okay.
I guess that's where it started.
Right.
I've been playing football, I think, all my life. I've tried other sports, but I guess football is just it.
Okay.
Yeah.
In school, which school did you go to?
I was in St. Andrews Primary.
Okay.
And then I went to St. Andrews Secondary until I was in Sec 2.
Yeah.
And then I went to St. Gabriel's when I was in Sec 3 and Sec 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said that you started playing like at 4 years old, right? Was there anyone who influenced you, like your dad, or seeing somebody play, or on the telly, or?
No, I think at that age, it was just natural to just pick a ball and then run around with the ball,
Right.
But I've never, until now, if people were to ask me at that age, even much earlier, I never really thought about being a professional. It was just a fun thing for me.
Here's a question for you, right? Were you always a striker? Like you know, maybe you started out in primary school, for example, right? Did you always play as a striker?
Yeah.
Always?
Always. Since primary school. Since I think, yeah, when I started playing really competitive football in primary school,
Okay.
I was always a striker. I've never played in any other position.
Did somebody see you, like a teacher or a coach, see you and say, okay, you play striker, or you just went up there and said, okay, I'm going to be a striker?
I think I just went up there to play as
Right,
a striker.
right.
Because during my time, I think everybody just wanted to play. You know, I don't think any of the teachers were picking players for any position.
Positions,
They were just saying that if you want to play, just play. I think maybe at a young age, I was already scoring goals. So, and I find it fun, you know, to score goals. So
Was it easy for you to score goals? You said fun, yes. Fun is.
It was fun,
it,
it was easy. I still remember a game in primary school when I think I scored about 9 or 10 goals in a game. And then I remember the coach taking me out and say, that's enough for you today.
Right. So now this is another question that has got to do with the question earlier on, right? Do you think, in your opinion, strikers are born or are they made?
Instinct wise,
Yeah.
I think they are born with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you talk about being made, I think it's about putting in the hard work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's hard to say that a striker is born being like that.
Is it safe to say that, again, this is for those who are listening in, youngsters who are listening in, you know, students who are listening in, is it safe to say that you had the instinct but you worked very, very hard? You worked your let me say balls off. Did you?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
You know, instinct is one,
Yeah.
but if you don't realize your full potential, I think you will just be an average player.
Yeah.
You know, from an average player to a very good player is actually a lot of hard work.
Right.
Yeah, you don't just think you have talent and then that's it.
That's very well put. You know, I think that's a important lesson as well. Which youth club teams did you play for? Obviously when you were in your teens, right? Any youth club teams?
No, because at that time we had this Milo soccer school.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was always in the Milo soccer school.
Right.
And then I went to the elite squad, the Milo elite squad.
Okay, which is was it like a so-called the NFA of?
Yes,
before?
correct. I think it was like kind of the NFA
Right.
before, you know.
Okay.
And then I got selected for the combined school.
Okay.
And then that's where it all started out lah.
Right.
And then at maybe 10 or 11, I started to represent Singapore in the youth team.
So you did not play for any youth teams. You were just straight drafted into, firstly, of course, the Milo squad, and then slowly you eventually made up to the.
I think I performed very well in the school games.
Okay.
And then that's
Right.
where.
Okay. Who was the coach of the Milo team?
If I remember correctly, my first coach was Cikgu Sharif.
Okay.
And then it was Cikgu Samsuri,
Okay.
Cikgu Latif,
Right.
and then my last one when we won the Lion City Cup was Cikgu CS.
Mr. C.S. Senan.
Yes, Mr.
Right.
CS.
So that was when you won the Lion City Cup in 1995. Let's talk
right.
about that. What
Okay.
age were you then?
I think I was 14, 15, you know, because it was an under 15 tournament, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I would have been around that age.
And those games were played at the old Jalan Besar Stadium?
Correct.
Yeah.
Old Jalan, I think I remember it. We played at Old Jalan Besar and then at Bedok Stadium.
Right, right.
These two places we played.
The old Jalan Besar Stadium, the field was, to me at that time, was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was,
grass and natural and.
You know, until now, I was just recently speaking to a friend of mine. You know, when I was speaking to Joseph Pragasam.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, and then we were talking about how we walked behind the stadium, the canal, you know, and then
yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yes.
We really miss the old
It
stadium.
it was it was a wonderful atmosphere as well to play.
Correct.
And then after that, right after the game, you come out is the hawker center.
Correct. Yeah, the same thing I spoke to Joseph about.
Yeah.
We went to the hawker center to
Yeah.
you know. And then the best part were all those people betting on the game
Yes,
at the sides.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean that was a very good atmosphere. Yeah.
Right. So the Lion City Cup, you won it, right? You won that tournament.
Correct.
Do you remember, like, against which teams you played against?
We played against Malaysian side, I think Pahang,
Right.
and then we played an Indonesian team,
Right.
and then we played AIK Stockholm in the semi-finals, and
Okay.
then we won Hong Kong in the finals.
So how many goals did you score in that tournament?
I cannot remember lah.
Too many.
No, not too many.
But,
I think a few, but
So were you the top scorer or the player of the tournament or something like that?
no, there
They
wasn't
didn't have that,
any
yeah.
award
Right.
for that one. Yeah.
In that squad of players, tell me a few names that rose up and then played in the ES League after that.
Yazid Yassin,
Right.
and Ahmad Latif.
Only these three plus you.
Yeah.
The rest did not
three
make
of
it at
us.
all.
Yeah, the rest did not make it. Yeah.
Any
so
reasons why? Do you know?
I really am not sure, because
Okay.
all I can remember was after we won the tournament, I guess the team got disbanded.
And where did they go? Like to clubs or?
I cannot remember.
Right,
Because then it was disbanded. Then only me, Latif, and Yazid were still surviving after that.
Right.
Yeah. Then I went with my first call up was with the pre-Olympic squad.
Right.
I went to Australia with them for a month.
Yeah.
And then Latif, I think he went to maybe Geylang or Tampines at that time. Then Yazid went to Sembawang where he grew up. You know, down there.
What were your memories of Yazid and Latif at that time?
Yazid, he played. When I met him first, we were playing at the this Topper Cup tournament in Sentosa.
Right.
And he was playing a striker.
Side, right?
Seven-a-side, yeah.
Yes.
And he was playing a striker.
Right.
But actually, we found out that he was a very good keeper.
Yes.
So, it was fun being with them. And Yazid has always been that same character. And then Latif, growing up, he has always been this very stubborn guy.
Okay.
You know. And then very brave fella.
Okay.
You know, I still remember when we were like maybe 13, 14, we played against older boys.
Yeah.
And he was still going in with the tackles,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So I think he is one character who you will always remember.
Yes. Do you still
Yeah.
keep in contact with him? Or?
No, I have lost contact with him.
Right.
I don't know where he is right now.
You lost.
And if Latif is hearing, please
Yeah, please.
at least get in
yes.
touch with
Yeah,
us.
get in touch with us, because I think nobody knows where you are right now.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
knows.
And I can still remember him playing, you know, and after that in the S League, and you know, he was one of the best, like, you know, strong, powerful,
super player.
yeah,
you know?
brilliant player. I just want to ask you this, right? Why Liverpool? Why do you support Liverpool? Your dad is a Man U fan.
My
right?
dad is a Man U fan.
Right.
I just don't know. You know, since I was young, I supported Liverpool.
How come? You must have watched something. You must have watched like a player, for example.
Yeah, because started to watch when John Aldridge was there, and then John Barnes.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, that was the team.
that was the team. So
Brilliant
I think I just like Liverpool lah. And then
Yeah.
plus my dad is a Man U fan, so it's like you always want to go against your parents
You
at that
wanna
age.
rub it in, right? right.
Yeah,
Right.
you always try to like go against them, you know.
And you must be one very happy person lately with Liverpool doing ever so well.
I mean, I'm a fan, but I'm not really hardcore. You know,
right,
on my Facebook, I see people fighting, and it's like nice lah. It's like
It's
sometimes
nice,
it's
but
very
it
funny.
sometimes gets silly as well. You
It
know?
gets too much at times, you know.
Yes.
But I just read it for the fun.
for the banter, right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's move forward, right? I think this is the most interesting part with your professional football. Okay, and of course the inaugural S League, which kicked off in 1996.
Correct.
And you played for Police. How did that transition, like, how did you play for Police then? I remember Jita Singh was the coach.
Yeah,
for
now that
Police,
you say his name, then only I remember. I think Jita was the one who came and speak to my parents.
right? Okay.
Yeah, and then that's how I got into the team.
Okay.
No, I didn't expect much because I was very young then. So I thought I was just making up the numbers. You know, giving me experience.
Some great players in that team as
Yeah,
well.
I still remember because in that team there was the late Borhan Abu Sama.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he was there. And then obviously we know people like Ekma, you know, the Brazilian was there.
Joselito.
Yes, Lito. Then there was this defender Kiko.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Strong
it
team.
was-
But you guys did not win the league. That it was Geylang and then SF.
Yeah, the first year I think we didn't really do well.
Right.
You know, the start of the season itself, when it was the opening, some of them were saying that it's not going to be Police FC year because the flag that they were carrying, it kind of fell, you know.
What
I
flag?
still remember
What
they
flag?
had this this big flag that is Police FC flag.
Oh, at the opening
At the opening, yeah.
right.
And then I sort of remember it falling down.
From where? Somebody
Somebody was
who
carrying
was
it.
that?
I don't remember.
A player. He must be a jinx, man, this guy.
I don't know whether it was a player or somebody from
Right.
Yeah.
The guy or the player who actually held the flag up, please come forward and please speak to us.
Please admit.
Or please do not hold anything ever.
Yeah.
Did you at that time, right, in 1996, did you ever think or that you would have a career that long and then play for Singapore, break records along the way and things like that?
No, at that point, because it was just a game to me.
Right.
Yeah, I was just happy going down to train, and then at that age I was already paid kind of a salary.
Yeah.
You know, at 16 you get maybe about $1,000 over.
That is huge money for
at 16. So I was like, okay lah, just play, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like I say, if you do what you like, it's never work for you.
Right.
So it was never work for me. I just came, train, you know, just enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And then I had great people around me.
Yeah.
So it was good. And then plus every month I had money, you know.
Extra money, right?
Yeah.
How about the next year, right? And in fact, not the next year, a couple of years after that, you played for Geylang, right? You went over to Geylang 1997 to 2000. Who called you there?
Robert Lim,
Right.
Coach Robert Lim.
Right.
Because I went to Australia with them. He was the one. He with Barry Whitbread was the one there.
Yes.
So he called me over to Geylang, and I would really want to thank him, because he is the one that gave me that.
Robert
Lim.
Yes.
Yeah, he gave me the chance to feature in the S League.
Right.
You know, at 17, I managed to play a lot of the games in my first year of the S League.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Robert, I'm sure you will listen to this. That was Indra giving props to you. Now, how was that team, the Geylang team?
It was good. I mean, I can only remember people like, I think Sasi was also there.
Yeah.
Then after that, Latif was there with me.
Yes.
And then a few other players where Abang Kadir was there, Kadir Yahya.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had a good set of
coaches
players,
wise. You had Robert. Who else were in those days? Those 4 years or so.
If I can remember, Coach Robert was there.
Alan Vest.
Alan Vest was there. One of the people like I really enjoyed playing under.
Okay.
And then yeah, I think only these two. I really cannot remember much during that time. Yeah.
I want to ask you this. Any regrets not winning the title with Geylang? Because I believe after you left then, because the first year Geylang won, and then you went over to Geylang, they did not win anything. And then when you left, they also won once, 2003 or something. I think they did manage to win.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I'm the jinx. So
no, I'm not saying that. But do you have any regrets? Because that was like kind of your boyhood kind of club.
I mean, a bit of regret that we didn't win anything there.
Yes.
I think my only consolation was winning the Young Player of the Year for Geylang. That's it.
The very first year that you played, right?
Correct.
How was the feeling of because, you know, it is a great award to win Young Player of the Year, and the players that won it as well. Right? We had Haris winning once, by Haki,
Latif
won, and a couple of players who won and done well as well.
Yeah.
What was the feeling like winning it? And you won twice, 2 years in a row, right?
Correct. 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
One with Geylang and the other one with Home Utd.
Correct.
Good feeling. You always feel proud that you are being recognized for something that you have done. You know.
Right.
And I think I really put a lot of work into the games that I play. It's not what people say you only work 2 hours a day, but it's actually really a full-time job. Yeah, off the field also you got to take care of yourself, you know. Yeah. But it's nice to be recognized. Yeah.
I like what you said, because I think a lot of people have this notion that a professional footballer, and let's not talk about Singapore or the UK or whatever. In general, professional footballers, they got to work their socks off as well. They got to take care of their body, so that on that Saturday you got to play a game. So that during that week, Monday to Friday, you got to train hard, you got to rest well, you got to take care of everything. And I dare say, right, even when I was playing, right, I did not have a day where there was no knocks or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like every
correct.
single day there's something.
It's like a work hazard.
Yes.
You know, for us it's like almost every day.
Yes.
So when people sometimes tell me that, hey, no, only 2 hours what you work, you know,
Yeah.
I feel a bit offended
Right.
because you don't know that we got to take care of ourselves. We
Yeah.
got to go and rest.
Yeah.
If we don't rest, afternoon we train, then we might get injured,
Right.
and then that's it for us, you know.
Yes.
So it's actually really a full-time job.
And also on top of that, the career is only short.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, if something happens on your second year of your pro career, something bad, touch wood,
Yeah.
you're gone, right?
Correct.
So that,
Yeah.
that is what you know. I think that's a good thing that you just said. Now let's talk about Home United, right? 2001 to 2008. That's a long time to play.
Yeah.
And is it safe to say that you had your best times at Home United in terms of, you know, the teammates that you had, of course the titles that you won, right? Was it safe to say that's the best times?
Best times for sure. I think maybe my first 3 or 4 years at Home United.
Yeah.
Then we had very good players.
Yeah.
We had Thai internationals in the team.
Name me those local players first that you played in or for.
ID Iskandar was there, and then Subramani was there.
Right.
Then we had national players like Azhar Baksin,
Right.
and then we got some really like good foreigners like Ekma.
Yeah.
We had Ekma. Then we had Suti.
Yes.
Then we had this
Was Surachai?
Surachai. Yeah, Surachai was there.
Right.
You know, very good, strong team.
Coaches wise?
Mr. Alan Vest. No. Steve Darby.
Right.
Yeah, Steve Darby was there,
Right.
and then the whole coaching staff was all working very well together.
What is the difference, in your opinion, between the clubs that you have played, right? Because Home United obviously was the most successful. What is the difference, do you feel, that they had? There's something special. What is it?
I think management.
Okay.
Yeah. Steve Darby had a way of handling players, you know.
Right.
He knows how every player is, from the senior players to the younger players.
Yeah.
He knows how to like really handle each group of players.
Okay.
And then we had this team manager, Mr. David Conceição.
Right.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Right.
And then our chairman there also was very nice.
Right.
You know, everything was like just really clicking and working together very well.
Yeah. It's funny. You talked about Steve Darby, right? Because I took out my phone just now, not to look at messages. I actually took out my phone because Steve Darby wrote something, because I told him I was going to speak to you, and he said this, right? And I'm just going to read it out so it's easy, right? So that you know, nothing that gets left out. Everyone knows Indra scores goals. What made him special was he scored important winning goals. For example, 2003 and 2005, the FA Cup finals, right? Over 20 meters using light gates, he was the fastest player I ever had. That included the Socceroos, which is the Australian team, right? In 2.64 seconds. I don't know whether you remember that, but he remembered, right? He was also he was also the worst ever at beep test. And cost me money. So I called the test stupid and was fined. I'm not going to read the rest because something happened at the beep test which I will not say, right? And you know, and everybody knows. But yeah, so that was Steve Darby, you know, just talking about you, and it's all good things, right? And obviously not the beep test, but that's for a different day and different story. So you were fast. You were fast. I know, of course, I played against you as well. I know you were fast, as well as you were also clinical in the box, right? And that was something that you can't really teach, like you said, the instinct part. Correct. In terms of the in the box, you know, and it doesn't need to be a good shot to connect cleanly, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's something special. So do you have anything to say about what
you know, you always only look at what your strengths are. You know, I wasn't a very skillful player, you know. I don't think I can beat a man using skills and everything. So I really took advantage of what I had, you know, best in me, which was speed. So, you know, when I speak to Sasi and all, I played against him. He was saying the only thing when they are really afraid is when I turn, face them, and then I push, and then that's it. You know, he said nobody will be able to catch you, and then especially for strikers, we don't need to run very far. Maybe at first 10, 15 meters, that's it. And then we are already in the box. So I really worked on that. And then especially being clinical in front of goal. You don't always get many chances. So like everybody say, you take 10 shots and then you get 1 goal. I don't believe in that. You know, I always like to keep the ratio down. So every 5, maybe 1 goal. Yeah. So I really worked on being very clinical at finishing.
I like that. I really like that. You know, you talk about 10 chances, 1 goal, but it's a very bold thing to say. It's a very good thing to say as well, especially for youngsters listening in, right? You talk about keeping it on target and what have you. You got to keep that ratio down as well.
Yeah, because I feel like nowadays it's good. It's always about team play, how to build up, but sometimes that final move towards goal or you taking your chances is also very important. You can play beautiful football, but
okay, this comes to the next point, right? That people say that good strikers, you know, the difference between an average and a very good top striker is the composure just before goal. That you don't get carried away. Is that right?
That is, you know, even in training, sometimes you can train this.
Right.
You know, we always do finishing, no pressure, right? That's when sometimes it's good that you have somebody with you, always behind your back. He's not there to just tackle you. He's just there to actually just disturb you, you know, push you or, you know, try and get your mind off that shooting position, you know. Yeah, so it was good. I managed to do all this during the earlier days when I was playing. So that's why whenever inside the box or near the goal, I try to make myself very composed. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, you were also a traffic policeman. For how long?
I was there same as when I was playing for home. Maybe
throughout the duration.
Throughout the duration.
So you had double pay. You're not supposed to say this.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to say, but since you asked, I have to say yes. I cannot. Later, the taxpayers will look for me, you know. But I did pay all my taxes, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, but that is not a bad deal at all. That's not a bad deal at all.
Because it was time for me to go do my national service, and then.
Were you on the bike or the? What kind of traffic police were you?
No, I didn't go. Especially the bike, they wouldn't allow me because I was playing.
Okay.
I didn't go for the conversion because I was always posted outside for trainings.
Okay.
What I did was maybe just come back for my IPPT, my shooting, and then events that we held, like those drink driving. Yeah. So I did all those kind of things. Yeah.
Great. Now you had a 2-week stint at Chelsea as well in 2003.
Yes.
You went with somebody else.
I went with Suti.
Right.
Yeah, we were at Home Utd, and then they sent us there. It's more of just, I think, a reward for us for doing very well.
So it was just a training.
Correct. It was just a training stint for us to just go and enjoy.
How was that?
Good. We trained with the second team.
Yeah.
And then we met even the first team players.
In 2003, who were there?
Same. Frank Lampard was there. Who's the defender?
John Terry
is there. Then after that, when I was training with the second team, there's John Obi Mikel.
Right.
Yeah, he was training with the second team. Yeah.
Right. Now I want to ask you this, right? Did you ever dream about a move overseas when you were in top form, the best that you ever played, in your peak, in your prime, whatever you want to call it? Did you ever dream, or you just wanted to just stay grounded and you know?
I honestly never even thought of playing overseas.
Okay.
Because I had a job here. You know, I was in the police force and I couldn't move anywhere else. So I never really crossed my mind about playing overseas. I got a call from Alam Shado. He was in Arima.
Yes.
And they wanted to have another player, so he called me up.
Right.
But I told him I couldn't go because of the contract that I'm still in.
Okay.
You know, so I didn't go to Indonesia with him.
Right. And how about Real Salt Lake City? I thought that was, you were close, right?
Yeah, that one I was close. I was very close.
How old were you then?
I cannot remember how
Late
old I was then.
20s
Yeah,
or?
I think should be late 20s.
So it was Mr. Dave Roberts that helped you out, right?
Yeah, Dave Roberts helped me out.
Yeah.
I was in the team for about maybe 3 weeks plus, maybe
Yeah.
4 weeks. You know,
Yeah.
I went there. I landed in Miami,
Right.
because they had their pre-season. So I joined them pre-season, played a few games, and then went to Argentina with them. And then unfortunately didn't manage to secure a contract there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now I want to talk to you or ask you about Vietnam.
Mm.
You this is interesting, right? Okay, why did you tell me? How did that happen? Like, who
Same.
called you?
Dave Roberts was the one.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Was
brought
this
me.
before the Salt Lake City or after? Because I know your contract was up. Was it up with Home United and then?
Yes, it was up, and then I think it was after
Right.
Salt Lake.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Good training ground.
Okay.
Players were good.
Yeah.
I had quite a good time in
Okay.
Vietnam.
So those were that was the trial.
It was a trial.
How long was that?
I was there for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, but I came back maybe after a week or so.
Okay.
I don't know. I just couldn't.
Tell me why.
The training was okay, but after that the food was like I was eating basically the same every day.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
And who were you staying with? Like, was there like a house for you?
it was like a dormitory.
Okay.
You know, in the room there were like maybe 4 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of us shared, like 4 of us shared in the room.
Right.
And then the training ground was just downstairs.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of like a whole.
Right.
So
You do you know that they were going to sign you, or you just left after 1 week?
I just left after 1 week.
Alright.
Because when I told them I wanted to leave, asking why do you want to leave?
Okay.
You should stay because we
Yeah,
interested, you know. But
Yeah.
I told them no, I cannot, because when I spoke to them, I said what happens if I sign, and then they said all the players will be staying at in a big, like, you know, room, and
Right.
everybody is just staying there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
so it
right.
was like, you know, those long houses where everybody was just
It's like a
sleeping
chalet
together.
kind of.
Yeah, chalet kind of thing. So I don't know. After that,
No, this reminds me of Sporting Afrique. Remember?
yeah, maybe it was something like that. Yeah, they all stayed.
Okay, you know, no, but seriously, right? I didn't know all this, right? So
Yeah.
I was thinking that, you know, you copped out because of, you know, food, obviously food and accommodation and whatever.
Yeah.
I really thought that you copped out because you were so-called weak, right?
Oh.
Right? But you know, obviously now I know, now people know,
Yeah.
because there was some criticism of you as well at that time when
Okay.
you did not want to sign and
Correct.
what have you, you know,
Yeah,
because people might think that it's just food. You want to be a professional footballer, you got to adapt and blah blah blah. But then again, you don't know how they are going to treat you as well,
Correct.
you know.
Yeah.
And from what you are saying, I will walk out of there
You know,
as well.
you honestly, breakfast, lunch, dinner was all the same thing.
Right.
I just had rice, chicken, and one vegetable. That's it. I was like,
Right.
yeah. The first 2-3 days was okay. After
Right.
that, when it got to
Yeah, I
like maybe
understand.
6-7 days, then
I
I say,
Understand, truly understand. We
Yeah.
move on, right? Now from 2009 to 2014, you went to play for Sengkang and SFFC, right?
Yep.
And you scored 200 goals over that time, after, you know, over the period of time, right? What was the feeling like? Do you know that? Do you know the players who scored more than 100 goals? Local players. I'm talking about local players. So you are one of them. Do you know of the other 2 players?
I only
I give you a
know
clue. Two players other than you who scored more than 100 goals in the domestic league.
the Singaporean foreign, right?
No, Singaporean player,
Oh.
a locally born player. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
I give you a clue. One is a striker.
I would say maybe
One of the best that Singapore has produced ever.
Alam Shah.
Exactly, brilliant
Yeah.
one. That's one.
The other one can be either Amri or Sharil.
Oh, the second one is a little bit tricky. It's not Sharil, it's not Amri. You're talking about the local domestic league.
I really don't know.
Muhammad Noor Ali.
Oh, he scored 100.
More than 100 goals,
Okay.
right?
Ah,
Yes.
Alright.
I want to ask you this question, right?
Mm.
Do you think there will be another local striker to hit that milestone?
I think it's quite difficult.
Why?
At the moment, if you see a lot uh, of the strikers, foreign strikers at the moment,
Yeah.
and then
So you mean you're talking about opportunities?
correct, opportunities
Right.
is not there. And then even when they start playing, they start only at maybe 20 plus. Then only they start to be able to play in the league. I was already scoring maybe nearly 20 goals at when I was 18. So at 18, 19, 20, I was averaging 20 goals per season. So I think it's quite hard for someone to just, and then now maybe there is someone close to 100, but
Yeah.
I don't see anybody will be scoring 200 goals for a local player.
It's a very good point that you made, right? We're
Yeah.
starting early, as well as the foreign bit.
Correct.
I think it's a very good point. Now we
Yeah.
talk about age, right? Just now,
Mm.
talk me through your disappointment of the age restrictions. There was 1 year, right?
Yeah, there was 1 year when they
Tell me
were
about
talking
this.
about age.
Yeah.
I kind of feel sad because
Yeah.
at that, even though I was a bit past that age criteria, right?
What was the age again? Do you remember? 30, 30.
I think 30, I think.
Right.
But at that age, I think I was still playing. I could still play.
Yeah.
So I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But then again, rules were already made, so
Yeah.
we just have to follow.
Home United gave you a lifeline, right?
Mm.
The coach was the Korean coach.
Korean coach, correct.
And you said, I think I read this or I heard this somewhere in an interview. You said you were fitter than before. At that age, and then coming back to play for
Correct.
United. Why?
Even you saying his name, I feel tired now. Of all the times when I was started with Police FC, Geylang, and then until I joined Coach Lee. All the years, I never run as much as I did with Coach Lee.
Okay, give me an example of what he did in one training session. Just example.
One training session, pre-season, he just told us to come down, change to the shoes and run. So we asked how many. He said, you don't ask me, you just run.
On the track?
On the track.
Okay.
He said, you just run.
Without no pace, no
No, he was looking for at least 2 minutes or 145
per round. Right.
Yeah, so he was saying, you all just run. Don't stop. I'm not going to tell you how many rounds. So if anybody drops below 2 minutes,
right,
he will just make you run again. Those who can clock 145, 145, right? Then they can go and rest. But those who cannot meet, you just keep on running until he tells you to stop. And then there was one training session, we ran box to box for 1 hour.
Box to box for 1 hour?
1 hour. And it was not joke, It was like maybe 15 seconds back.
So this was the training?
This was the training
Just
for pre-season. And then every time when we had game, everybody will be fighting for a place to play the first.
Because after that?
Because the next morning, those never play, right? Sure, we run again. We were very fit. We were damn fit. Especially when we play games, right? First 45 minutes, no teams will breathe. Because we were just going forward,
That is very, very interesting, very funny, and for those of you who are listening in who do not know about the training in terms of the box to box run, it is actually running from one penalty area to the other penalty area and then back.
Correct, yes.
So that is box to box. And then in 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
And then how long do you have to rest before you go again?
Because it was one rest and one work. So it was 15 and then
so only
rest.
2 groups?
Most I remember we having was maybe only 2 groups because we were lying the whole stretch of the field.
For 1 hour?
Yeah,
I
need 1 hour.
I still cannot.
We did 1
so
hour,
easy.
But that's why I say when it was with him, it was no longer a physical work. It's always a mental.
Right.
Because like they say, it's all mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So most of us will just like became zombie. We here go, then we ran, we came back, we here go. Nobody was thinking.
Right. Now, obviously after that you ended your career with Tampines and Geylang, right? You went to Tampines and then Geylang,
Correct,
right?
Yes.
Now retirement.
Mm.
Did you feel that it was coming? Like the later years when you were playing, then you were already thinking, "Well, I think I'm slowing down." And,
Yeah.
did you?
I already felt it when I was with Tampines.
Okay.
You know, recovery was a bit longer.
Right.
I remember doing the 2.4 test.
Okay.
You know, and I really was struggling. And then I had Alex with me, and he was just pushing me from behind.
Because he was the fitness coach at that time, or was he playing?
He was playing.
He's
He was
still
playing.
Still playing,
Yeah.
right?
So
okay.
he was after the, I think the fourth round, the third or the fourth round, he was just pushing me all the way.
Right.
Yeah, he was like really physically pushing me because I was really struggling after that.
Okay.
And then when I went to Geylang, then I knew it was my last year. You know, usually I could just push and then run, but this time when I push, I saw the other fella run in front of me. So I think that's it.
Check, please. It's time to go.
Yeah.
Just one more question before we go to our international football part, right? When you were playing for the international side, was retirement difficult? Mentally, not physically, but
maybe I felt a bit happy that
yeah,
I know that tomorrow morning I wouldn't be waking up to go for training.
Okay.
But then after that, maybe after 1 or 2 days, maybe the third day, I felt that it's not a norm for me to just wake up and do nothing. Yeah. So then it kind of hit me lah. I feel a bit sad. And then when I stopped playing, it was just like that, very silent. You know, there wasn't a big thing about me retiring.
Right.
I do remember it was a big thing. You know, so I just went out from the game silently and then that's it.
Right. Till now, actually, you've been quite silent.
Correct. I have not made anything. You know, I have not said anything to people about.
Right.
Yeah.
Till now, probably.
I mean, I'm still being the way I am. I don't like to talk about all the negative things. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Your first call up, 1997 versus Kuwait. Do you still remember that day?
Yeah, I remember coming on the last maybe 10-15 minutes.
Did we play here or?
We played at the National Stadium.
Right. The old National Stadium.
The old National Stadium. And I think I did well also. I did a few runs, had a few chances in that short 15 minutes. And I would say I was very happy for my performance on that day.
Who was the coach? Who gave you that opportunity?
If I'm not wrong, I think it was this Barry Whitbread, and Robert Lim was the assistant.
Right. Now I want to ask you, as a striker, what was the difference between international and domestic football?
I would say a bit faster in international football. Even when we played teams like against Indonesia, against Thailand, you know, Southeast Asian teams, but the pace was very different. Domestically, I felt
you're talking about the flow of the game, as in
flow of the game, speed of the game.
Right.
You know, I could still keep up with the speed. You know, because at that age I was still. The difference was there. People were still keeping up. When you push another, people were still keeping up. But
how did you adapt? I'm sure after the first few games and whatever you had that experience of playing international games. How did you adapt? Do you need to tweak something differently, or do you need to tweak here and there? Or
if you ask me how I adapt, I am not too sure, because for us players, we can just suddenly adapt to a situation without even thinking about it.
Right.
So
not many players can do that.
I think so.
I have to say that, right? Because you need to be thinking. Right.
So I guess I automatically got into the groove of the game. You know, even when we played in the AFC tournaments with Home Utd, we went to the Middle East country. I was still scoring goals. It was still okay for me.
You scored against big sides, right? Man Utd, Uruguay and Japan. Now, does it make a difference as a striker to score against these sides or against any other team? Does it make a difference to you personally?
Personally, it doesn't make a difference because a goal is still a goal. But then again, when it comes to big matches, right? I don't know. I just suddenly have this extra sharpness
Yeah.
when it comes to really big games.
Yeah.
Like we can see against Man U, against Japan, and even in the finals with Indonesia when we won the cup here.
Right.
I suddenly stepped up another gear.
Right.
So I guess that's a bit something special about me. You know, I love big games, and I love having that pressure to score or to do well in those really big games.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, because some guys or some strikers may be accused of doing things against the weaker teams, but then when it comes to the big ones, they don't, right? And but you do obviously score against all the teams, so that's remarkable as well. By the way, who did you swap jerseys with?
No, I didn't swap any of the jerseys. You know,
Even with all the other teams?
yeah,
Tell me
most
why.
of the teams I don't swap my jerseys. I don't know, the jersey has our flag on it. I don't really want to give to another fella who's from another country to have that jersey. I don't mind throwing it to the fans because they were there to like support us and all, but to exchange, I don't remember me exchanging. No, everybody asked me whether I did exchange when we played against Japan or we played against Man United, but I am sure I did not change my jerseys. Yeah.
Love that. Totally love that. Absolutely brilliant. AFF Suzuki Cup, right? You won it in 2004 and 2007. What was it like?
Nice feeling.
Right.
Big tournament, you know, especially it wipes out the nightmare we had when we lost 4-0 to Malaysia.
Yes, that was the
Yeah.
first game in one of the
In one of the tournaments. So I was really sad, you know, especially losing to Malaysia 4-0 at the
Did you
National
play in that
Stadium.
game?
Yeah, I played in that
Okay,
game.
yeah.
So then when we won the 2004, and then we won it at the National Stadium, I guess it kind of like wiped off the bad memories. Yeah.
Tell me the secret about you being dropped in 1998. Was what you know, I read it somewhere. I didn't hear it from anywhere. I read it somewhere.
Okay.
Tell
98 was an interesting year.
Because the team won it as well.
Yeah, I was in the team.
Okay.
Me, Latif, the two youngest one, we were in the team. But I didn't know what happened that year. I didn't come for training. I didn't want to train. I was just fooling around, I guess. I was just all over the place. My dad even asked me, I think Robert and Barry came to speak to my dad. And then my dad spoke to me. I told him, I don't know. I just don't feel like training. I really don't know what happened.
This is gotta be the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So, but this was after the season ended, right? In '98. I'm talking about the S League. The season ended, and then you all were in a centralized training.
Correct,
or whatever.
centralized training. And
So,
then,
so that is the training that you did not attend.
yeah, I did not attend at all. I came for 1-2 sessions, and then after that, I just didn't want to go.
You were the only one.
I'm the only one. I didn't go for training. Then they were like asking what happened to you, you know. I just didn't have any reason until now. If you ask me, right, I don't know what happened. I really don't know why I just stopped and not.
Did the FA approach you or anything like that? Because obviously the coach has done his job.
They did. I mean, that's why I think the FA spoke to the coaches. That's why the coaches came and speak to my parents and all. But
So how did you get back into the good books of after Barry left?
Because in the league I always perform well.
Right.
You know,
So they had no choice.
Yeah, I was always averaging, like I said, about 20 goals every season.
Right.
So they called me back, and then they realized that I think those are like those one-off where he's just, you know, out of the game. But after that, it was I was always in the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you captained your country. I you know, first thing as a footballer, you want to play for your country.
Correct.
Right. You played, and of course, the being captain is like a bonus, right? I mean, you don't really want to. I want to captain the side, right? But you did captain your country.
Yeah.
And for someone who doesn't want to swap jerseys, how was that like?
You know, when I received the captain's armband from AD, I was proud. You know, I was proud. I was happy. You know, and then but I knew it came with a bit more responsibility. You know, like you were supposed to be the example for all the other players. but it was good responsibility. At least I myself will keep in check of my behaviors and and my discipline. So I was really happy to be walking out leading the team. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, right? You had to before you like do anything, you got to think first.
Yeah,
You have
correct.
to think more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just normal player, I mean, you will just do and you get caught and that's it. But
Right.
as a captain, everybody will be like looking,
Right.
because you are an example for the rest of the team.
Right.
Yeah.
You won 113 caps for Singapore. Am I right? 113, right? Could you have gotten more, do you think? Or you could have gotten 118 if you had played the 1998 Suzuki Cup.
Maybe I
Tiger
could
Cup.
have gone 120 also. Yeah, because I think I stopped in the national team when I was still able to play.
Right.
But then maybe at that point of time
You retired on your own?
on my own.
Right.
Even I think Reddy was asking why
Yeah.
you suddenly want to stop. But I guess at that point of time the younger players were coming up and then some of them were doing well. So I thought maybe they could just carry on from there.
Yeah.
So I decided to just stop playing for the national team.
How many
Yeah.
national coaches did you play for? Reddy?
It was Reddy, it was
Barry?
Barry.
Any local ones? No.
No, I don't think.
It's only these two, right?
Maybe Mr. Vincent
Right, for a bit.
for a bit.
Yes.
Vincent and then
Right.
yeah.
I want to ask you a quick football questions, right? So you got to be quick.
Okay.
I think it's very easy for you, right? Your worst injury,
When I broke my leg,
when was this?
it was a Hong Kong friendly game.
Right.
Which year I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
remind
Yeah.
myself of the year. I
How
think
did that happen? Like you went in for tackle or
Yeah,
somebody
it was-
tackled you?
It was just like both of us sliding in for the ball,
Right.
and then I guess my shin pad got caught on the ground, and then he
Oh.
went to the side,
Okay.
and then he came in, and then
Right. So
Yeah,
it was
it
the
was-
shin bone, the tibia.
Yeah, the shin bone, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You also had an ACL before, right?
I did.
So
And
but the
ACL
broken leg was worse.
The broken leg was the worst. Yeah. ACL was still okay because recovery was smooth, and then after that I could still play, not a problem. But because I still have this metal plate in the leg, right? So it's sort of sometimes hinders my movements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best coach you played for in the league,
In the league,
In the
Steve
league.
Darby,
the best.
the best.
Right. For helping you out. The best club that you played for.
Home United,
Best striking partner.
Egmar Concalves.
Another great striker there.
Yeah.
Best friend in football.
I would say I'm close to Latif.
Okay.
Yeah, because we grew up together, very young. Even when I was younger, he always had my back.
Right.
If there was anything, he was always there.
Right.
So I would say he's one of my close
Right.
friends in football. Yeah.
Ahmad Latif, if you are listening in, please, we reach out again for the second time in this podcast. Please call either one of us, message us, and what we will get back. Biggest disappointment
Biggest disappointment
in football.
In football, I guess not winning anything with Geylang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest achievement.
Biggest achievement would be winning the AFF Suzuki Cup
Both times.
both times, and then especially in 2004 when we won it in front of the home crowd.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Best goalkeeper you played against.
Goalkeeper, I would say Lionel Lewis.
How about international one?
International one. If I scored against them, that means they're not so good. So
So you don't know because you only score against them, right? Good answer. Best defender you played against, or the
Best
toughest one.
Razif Mahmoud.
I
Razif,
remember
if you're
his-
hearing this, please don't tackle me, okay?
yes. I remember Razif.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's best striker in Singapore right now, in your opinion. I mean,
Right now will be Irfan, right? Irfan.
Irfan, yeah.
Irfan, Abang Fandi's son. He's playing overseas, right?
No, that one is Iksan.
Iksan, yeah.
Irfan is the defender right now.
Iksan, yeah.
Right. Well done. Now we go on to a few of some personal stuff, right? And your feelings and your thoughts, and you know, you could get sensitive. I don't know. It's really up to you whether you want to answer or not, right?
Okay.
Now, obviously, retirement, right? You what are your thoughts on retirement? As in, like, do you have any other plans right now? Academy, any thoughts of academy? And you were talking to me before this as well about training kids and stuff like that. What are your plans right now?
At the moment, I started to run my own personal coaching, and it's a very specific training for strikers.
Okay.
Very focused on finishing.
Okay.
And what I did was all the goals, the over 200 goals that I scored.
Right.
I've actually like looked up back because my dad records all the games, you know.
Seriously, all?
Yeah, almost
all the goals.
Yeah,
he's got on tape.
He's got on tape. I just brought it home to try and put it on a CD.
Right.
So it was a whole bag or whole container.
So it could be done.
It can be done.
CD,
hopefully
right?
it can be, because I'm just afraid it might be corrupted. The tape. So I broke. I mean, all the goals that I scored, I broke it down, and like what I did before, what I did during when I got the ball, and how did I finish. So that's how my sessions are now based on, you know, all the exact goals that I did. So people cannot say that, oh, you got this from YouTube. No, I said, if you want, I can show you what I did.
Right.
And you know, it's a real life experience where I went through the whole scoring thing. So hopefully it will help the younger kids when they get into that kind of position situation, you know, so that they won't be surprised and not know what to do.
Right. That's beautiful. That's great. Right. Just out of curiosity, right? How many goals do you score through with your head? Do you know? Not many.
Not many, but I think I still remember scoring. I think I scored a few. Right now I can remember me scoring in the EFC Cup, and then me scoring against Tampines and a few others. I think I did score in my head also.
Nice. Sell yourself, right? Because it's just market yourself. How do people get in touch with you in terms of, you know, wanting to send their kids maybe for an hour session, and how do they go about doing this?
At the moment, the only way, maybe you can find me on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, and then slots at the moment are quite limited.
Right.
Because I will only take maybe 2 students the most
per session.
Per session,
right.
Per 1 hour session, because I really want to emphasize and then give quality to the training session.
Right.
Then I've got all this, my blueprint of what they do from maybe first week to the whatever weeks that they want to be in. And then I came up with like a 90-day program. Where you go through the phases until where the advanced stage is where you play with a bit of pressure. That's when I learned, like, you have to be composed in front of goal, or with playing against a defender at your back. So it'll be a very detailed program that I will be running for, especially the strikers department.
That's great. That's great. So listeners, if you want to get in touch, just type Indra on Facebook. You'll find him, right? It's that easy. Now, any regrets in your personal life?
I have. The only regret my personal life was I wasn't religious.
Okay.
I didn't do my prayers,
right.
You know, for which was a big thing. And then I realized after that he gave me all these glad tidings, but you know, I wasn't appreciative. But then again, all this hopefully makes me a better person. Yeah, that's my only regret, if you ask me. And then not listening to my parents. You know, sometimes when they tell me, especially my mom, I kind of always think that other people will give better advice, you know. So kids out there, I'm just want to say this, your parents will never want anything bad for you. You know, they always want the best. If you can really sit down and talk to them and then understand what they are going through, you know, especially right now when I have 3 kids, I realized that it is very important. I mean, I realized why they did it. You know, it's always for the good for us. They have never always, they've always want the best from us.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's beautifully said, right? And the fact that you're actually thinking about this, you know, I think you are, you know, getting there. You're getting better, right? Now, what do you think is lacking in the youth of today in terms of football? Just football. What do you think?
I guess the hard work and dedication.
Right.
I think I just spoke to some friends who were saying that we have it easy. Kids here are having it easy, so that's why there is no drive to like really do very well. I just give an example, like when I was with Home and Coach Lee was there, you know, everybody was fighting to be in the first 11. Why? Because we don't want to be running the next day. That is just one simple example. So it is like that. If you are in a very bad situation, you want to get out of there, you will really do your best. But for us at the moment, it's quite hard because everything is easy for us. You know, Singapore is very safe. There is not much problem. You know, even you go work outside, you will still earn a salary. So I guess that's one of the issue that our youngsters have. But we cannot fault them also, because from young, I give an example for myself. Even my daughter, if she wants something, I go like, no. But after that, then I say, okay lah, can. You know, so we just give
a little bit soft-hearted as well.
Correct,
right?
you're a bit soft-hearted. I mean, it's not. I guess that's how it is now.
Yeah.
It wasn't what it used to be.
Right.
Another example was also when I was in the national team, I misbehaved. Then Abang Malik like really slapped me, kind of thing. You know,
Physically
literally
slapped you.
Yeah. So I went back. I told my dad. My dad said, "Good for you. Now you know how to behave." But nowadays you don't get that. If your child gets, you know, you will sure do something and go back to the school or to that person. Yeah.
Right. That was tough love, wasn't it?
Tough love. But then you learn.
Yes, of course. Now, why do you think there is a lack of quality strikers? Now, we talked a little bit about before the opportunities part, right? Maybe a lack because of foreign strikers, but I still do think that it's missing the quality strikers part. I'm talking about local play. Why do you think so? Is that also part of dedication, hard work, or
it is a lot to do with dedication and hard work.
Right.
People may say that it's just talk, you know, but I remember myself when I was younger and I was scoring goals. I was really training hard even after the trainings to just do finishing.
Right.
So I guess it is a lot of hard work. And also, like I told you before, strikers sometimes those special ones are born to just be strikers.
Right.
So you can train very hard, but if you don't have that instinct or you don't have that edge, you will still just be another striker.
Right.
Yeah.
Indra, finally, right? Any advice for young strikers who are coming up?
Keep working hard.
Yeah.
Learn from people who have gone through the whole system. You know, it's no use watching YouTube of how people score, of how people shoot, because those are just things where you do personally.
Right.
You don't really have that real match experience to go through that. You know, so if someone can help you, you need to go and learn and find out how it actually is. Because when you are shooting without no pressure, you will always score because there is no pressure. You know, but when you have a bit of pressure, you have a bit of a challenge. That's where you will put yourself into that game situation.
Right. Well done. Thank you so much, Indra, for being on the Silverfox Hustle podcast. I think this has been a good episode as well, coming from the master marksman himself. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for your personal training of strikers, or with the young kids. I think that's a very good thing to do. I might send my son to you soon. No, seriously. I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
Right? Thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
That was Indra Sahdan, the master marksman, the man with the big game goals. It was a pleasure having a chat with Indra and listening to his thoughts on his career so far. And of course, some untold stories, some funny ones, especially the box-to-box runs, man. It was worth the time just reminiscing about some wonderful memories of the past, and how Singapore national team and how the Singapore national players, hope to have another player like Indra to emerge and bang in the goals like Indra. Now, before we leave, click on the follow or subscribe button on the podcast platforms that you are listening into, and I promise there's some more great talents or more great guests coming your way soon. Now, until the next time, the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Cheers. Thank you so much.